Greater Houston is home to many world religions. These religions and their houses of worship demonstrate the wonderful mosaic of faith and culture that brighten the tapestry of our community. Interfaith Ministries for Greater Houston is proud to present this video series as a part of our mission to educate people and reduce stereotypes. This series is presented by the Interfaith Relations and Community Partnerships Department of Interfaith Ministries for Greater Houston. It is also a celebration of the Brigitte and Bashar Kalai Plaza of Respect, located at Interfaith Ministries' main campus in Midtown Houston. Let's take a closer look at the elements of our houses of worship and work towards a better understanding of our religions and culture. A mosque is a place of worship and gathering for Muslims. It serves as the central location for various religious activities including daily prayers, Friday congregational prayers, Islamic education, and community events. In Arabic, a mosque is called a masjid.
Thank you for having me here, and I am just curious, where are we? And introduce yourself to us.
Well, thank you very much. I am an imam. My name is Muhammad Haq, and imam is the one who leads the prayer in the mosque and who gives sermon. And besides that, I'm an academician. I teach religious studies in the University of Houston. And we are in a mosque. And this is an area where 5 times daily prayers are held in congregation. And besides that, the Friday afternoon, we have all community service that everybody must pray in the congregation in the mosque.
Wonderful. And if I wanted to visit a mosque, what is the best day for me to visit? And what would I expect to be going on in the mosque different days of the week?
Well, pretty much every day will be the same, except that the Friday will be a bigger gathering in the afternoon, and there will be a full service. The Friday service includes a sermon and prayer. Other regular prayers, only prayer and no sermon.
And so, how would you explain or describe the role that the mosque plays in the community formation, the cultural celebrations? What role does the mosque play?
Well, mosque is for a Muslim community, and particularly practicing Muslims, families. Mosque in the community is like a heart in the body. So your blood circulates and takes fresh oxygen from the heart and then goes. 5 times a day, the community visit the mosques and refresh their faith and their spirituality.
Who are the spiritual leaders of a mosque, and what role do they play within the community?
Well, normally in a mosque, the main figure, a spiritual leader, is the imam, who leads the prayer, who gives sermons. And then in some mosques, besides the imam who officially leads the prayer, there is another position is called resident scholar. And resident scholar is the one who is mainly an academic or intellectual person who advised people, counsel people, answer the questions about Islam, interacts with the people of other faiths. In every mosque, you will find one more person who calls for the prayer. So calling prayer is held like 15-20 minutes before the congregational prayer. Somebody calls in the mic. So that is the part of the caller. And then when everybody is in the line, the imam starts the prayer. And that is normally the structure, or these are the people that you will find in a mosque.
There is a separation for worship between women and men. So if I'm entering a mosque, in a Christian or Jewish tradition, it might be called a narthex or a lobby or a foyer. What would that be called within a Muslim tradition, and what do I need to be aware of depending upon my gender?
Well, one thing that you will see in every mosque, that the prayer area or prayer halls for men is separate, and then for the women is separate. Some mosques have different entrance for sisters and brothers. Some mosques have a big main entrance, and then from inside you get to the men area and the women area. But the moment when, as a visitor, you enter a mosque in the entrance or the foyer area, you will see a lot of venues over there. So there will be an area where you put your shoes there, because the prayer area will be without shoes. Because in the Muslim mosques, if you must have seen, there is no furniture, no chairs or anything. So everybody prays on the ground, and they kneel down and they put their forehead and nose touching the ground. So that has to be a clean area. So shoes cannot be there. So there will be an area where you put your shoes in a shoe rack. Then in the foyer also you will find a wudu area, or the cleaning area, where before you go to the prayer, you get ready ritually.
Are there expectations or requirements for dress for both men and women?
Well, there are requirements for the prayer for Muslims, which is different for men and different for women. Women supposed to be covered during the prayer except their face and hands. Men are less required, like they don't have to cover their head and they don't have to cover their arms. This is for the Muslims. But as far as visitors are concerned, it is expected that they come in a decent dress.
Talk us through what to expect in a prayer hall in a mosque, and what's the design and layout that we can expect, and how does it reflect the central beliefs or practices of the tradition?
Well, first of all, prayer areas are shoeless. In Arabic language, they called musalla in the Islamic literature, where people actually pray, and normally it's a carpeted area or there is a rug. And the rest of the part of the mosque is where you can have your shoes, like a foyer or other lobby or other areas. But when you enter into that carpeted or rugged area, then you take off your shoes. Second thing, all the mosques in the world, the prayer direction is towards the Mecca in Arabia. And you can see that if the Mecca is in the middle of the earth, so all the mosques around in the world, they are facing towards that. So that makes like a circle. This is called Qibla. Qibla is another term which is used, that the direction towards the Mecca is called Qibla.
And the women, how is their prayer space different than the men's?
No difference. It's the same way, except that women, their dress attire is different. Other than that, everything is the same.
Why is there a separation in prayer space?
Well, basically, the prayer is a spiritual exercise where everybody is trying to get absorbed in God. So that's why when you are praying, you cannot talk. You cannot say anybody greetings, hello, welcome, how are you? That will break your prayer and you will have to restart it. So I explain to my students sometimes that I am supposed to be completely absorbed in the God. So that is the only reason, so that everybody pay full attention.
So there is something called a mihrab in a prayer space. And what does the mihrab contribute to the Muslim service in a mosque? Well,
you're talking about in the front part of the prayer area, there is a little opening where the leader of the prayer, the imam, stands. And that opening is called mihrab, and which is actually to save the space, because in the front line, there is no one else except the imam. So you need only one space. So for him, there is a little opening. He stands there, and then following him is the whole row.
And how about the significance of a minbar in a Muslim mosque, and how does it contribute to the religious proceeding?
Well, unlike mihrab, minbar or a pulpit is a tradition which is coming right from the Prophet Muhammad. Now, at every mosque you go, you find steps, like mostly 3 steps. Those steps are mainly so that the imam, when he's giving sermon, sits there or stands there so that it becomes visible and everybody can pay more attention to looking at him besides hearing him.
What role the Quran has in the Muslim community, and how do the traditions of Muhammad guide the principles of the community?
The sources of Islamic teachings are only 2. The primary source is the Quran, and the Quran to a Muslim is the divine words. The wordings, the language, and the meanings, everything is from Allah, from God, not from Prophet Muhammad. So the Prophet Muhammad is not the author of the Quran. He just received it through the Archangel Gabriel, and he delivered it. And no authority in Islam, no imam, no scholar has any authority to change or to go above this. You as a reader, if you read the Quran as a book, you will find that the overall characteristics that the Quran wants to develop in its readers, we can summarize it 5. Number 1, Quran repeatedly emphasized on truthfulness, that one has to be true and honest, on the right side. And number 2, justice. Justice has to be done individually, socially, legally, in every aspect. And that has been emphasized so many times in the Quran. And the third one is benevolence, that you have to do everything perfectly. Whether you are praying or whether you are doing business in the market, you have to show your professionalism and your perfectness. And the fourth characteristic that the Quran wants to develop in its reader is that it has to be merciful. There has to be compassion, because without compassion, we cannot do anything. And finally, wisdom, that you have to be wise, you have to be smart, and while you are making your decisions, you are making your relationship.
We often see what is now known as the symbol of Islam, which is the crescent moon and the stars. What is the significance of that symbol? How long has it been around, and what does it signify?
Well, officially in the Quran or in the instructions or directions of the Prophet Muhammad, we don't see officially any significance of any symbol. But there are reasons that why cross or crescent have become popular or related with the Muslim community. All the Muslim rituals are done according to a lunar calendar. With the passage of time, it became a symbol. People started using it on the flags, on the signs. So this is how it became known. Now, in an interfaith setup, it became a symbol for Islam.
How does a mosque fulfill its responsibility to influence and contribute to the community through its unique history, traditions, and outreach programs? And what impact does it have on shaping the identity and values of the congregation?
Well, that is a very good question, and I think it's an important one, because the mosque is supposed to be interactive with its neighborhood, irrespective of the faith of the people. And the mosque is there to fulfill the needs. So a mosque is not only a religious center, it's a social center. So mosque plays an important role in its surrounding neighborhood, how to get them benefit, what the best can be done.
Is there a question that I haven't asked, or anything that you want to leave us with as a message of your tradition?
Well, I would first of all thank you so much that through you, the message of the mosque will be going to several people And whoever will be getting this message, we will welcome them to mosque. This is an open place. You are welcome here. If you have any question about the religion of Islam, this is the best place to learn.
Wonderful. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for teaching us about your tradition.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate giving me an opportunity to explain our mosques and our religions.